I almost got this pit in my stomach.
How do you not go insane? Do
I don't think I really turn it off.
you ever battle imposter syndrome?
I've always believed that I can be here and make an impact.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Holding Conversations, where Gen Z tells their stories. Today's guest doesn't just call balls and strikes. He runs the Umpire channel, which is the premier spot for all umpire and referee-related content. It's got over 450,000 followers on socials. We've got its founder, Noah Katz, with me here today. Noah, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So, why umpiring? Isn't that something that a lot of people find boring? Why did you lean into umpiring?
Yeah, so I grew up playing baseball. The dream was always, to play in the MLB. Played up till I was 18, up till the end of high school. And as I was playing in my local little league, I got to know the umpires in my league really well. And they said, when you're older, you can be an umpire as a part-time job. And I thought, that was so cool. My other friends, were starting to do part-time jobs, and I just found it such a cool thing to do. To be out on the baseball field, to get to make good money. So that's why I started umpiring. And the idea for the channel came from the fact that I found it to be such an amazing part-time job, but none of my friends realized they could become umpires. So started making videos, telling people exactly what I would tell my friends, that being an umpire is an amazing part-time job, and it's grown from there.
Well, and it's also hey, if I want to work in media, why isn't my side hustle going to be I'm going to have a writing gig or a broadcasting gig? Hey, if I love baseball, why isn't my side hustle going to be, hey, I'm going to still be on the field. It's just going to be as an umpire rather than as a player.
Absolutely. There are so many ways to stay involved with the game, and I'm really happy with the way that I found.
Why isn't it boring to you and not tedious? Those hot summer days, obviously you're still in school and you run cross country, but why isn't it tedious to you?
Yeah, well, I love to do it. I mean, you're out on the field. It's not playing, but, it's a lot of fun. You get to be out there. You get to give back to your community. Sometimes I'm umpiring in the same little league that I grew up playing in, so it's a great way to be involved in the game.
Is it weird? Is it whenever I walk past the fields that I played on growing up, I'm like, man, I used to play there. And instead it's you have two sets of memories at them. It's not just, man, I used to play there, but you'll also be able to say one day, man, I used to umpire there too.
Definitely, yeah. I've had a lot of full circle moments where I've gotten to umpire in so many of the places where I grew up playing and where I grew up coming to games, whether that's my local little league, umpiring there, umpiring and playing at Cooperstown, or now umpiring in some of the MLB stadiums that I grew up playing in. So yeah, it's really full circle, and very glad that I get to continue to be around the game in this really special way.
One of my favorite stories, and you shared it with another SU, he's an SU alum now, James Catito. Am I butchering that?
Yeah, pretty cool.
James Catito, you were talking about when you started at Clark University, where Noah goes. As a freshman, you realized how close you were to the Worcester, to one of the Red Sox minor league teams, and you knew, I had to make content. I have to go do this. And when do you know, especially as being a young entrepreneur, I have to take advantage of this opportunity? It doesn't matter anything. The composition doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't have enough camera work. I just have to go out there and I have to go and create something.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to, do you want it enough? Throughout kind of my senior year of high school, I was watching different people create, and I almost got this pit in my stomach where I just felt I want to be doing this. I need to do this. I just need to find a way. So when do you know? I think, if you're passionate about it, and if you are, you should go out and you should get started. Shouldn't let anything get in your way. It doesn't matter what experience you have, what camera you have. All you need is an iPhone and Wi-Fi connection today. And I posted my first video, just my little brother filming at my Little League field. I was 18 years old, and posted the video, and I got 300,000 views. So if you're passionate about it, go out there and make it happen.
It's kind of weird. I feel like a lot of things in life, it's about aiming first and shooting second. But with content, it feels like it's the other way around. You just got to go put yourself out there and then just go figure it out after there. Do you kind of feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing for starting content is just to start to go out there to post 10 videos. You don't need to know exactly where you're going, but go out there and first see if you even like to do it, and then from there, continue to get better every time, and then as you go, zero in on your niche and what makes you different.
How do you know you were getting better to start? Not just by following, but by product, because you have such an easy opportunity to create viral content. You could just have umpires throwing people out or umpires making very dramatic calls, and you kind of more lean into the people rather than glamour moments. How do you know that you're kind of improving at what you're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, is the feedback from the people watching, and that was very important from us that we be, the positive side of sports officiating. There's enough negativity out there, and I want to create something positive. I love this as a part-time job. I recommend it. So they're amazing stories to tell. So yeah, I think that's very much at the core of our success, and for improving, it's just continuing to get better every video, trying to fix one small thing. It's networking and forming groups with other creators and learning from them, and just improving a little bit every day.
You're not a professional umpire, but in a lot of ways, when people think of umpiring, they're going to think of the Umpire channel. Do you ever feel like a responsibility to represent all umpires? I don't even say properly, but in a certain way that that as a whole they'd appreciate.
Yeah, I think so. I think that comes back to showing the positive side that we don't do controversial calls or post an umpire's bad game. We do the positive. We tell people stories. We tell interesting stories. We show up for sports from a perspective that people haven't seen before. So yeah, I think our responsibility is to be a positive voice for sports officials, and really just hone in on telling all of the amazing things that go with officiating.
What is something that all good umpires have in common, no matter the sport?
I think the ability, just the ability to get better every game, to go to just at the end of each game to really just look at your mistakes, move past it, and just continue to learn and improve.
How, because you are in the sphere, do you ever take it a certain way when you go online and you see people bashing the refs, or when you see athletes doing it, like because you know them so well? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I don't think I take it personally. I think a lot of the negativity you see out there, no one would ever say that to you in person. They're kind of commenting because they're behind a anonymous wall. And like we get negative comments when we post a day in the life of an NHL referee, and they're saying, "Oh, the refs are blind," and like that's not substantial at all. Like, just move past it. But what we do also get is so many comments from people who say, "I love your videos. You've really shown me that I can become an umpire, and I've been umpiring for the past year, and it's been an amazing part-time job." That's what really matters, not anonymous 2475 saying refs are blind.
Is it kind of just like a math equation almost at a certain point where it's like, look, we've got over 450,000 followers on our socials. Some people are just going to say nasty things, and it's just part of the reality.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if a video gets 1 million views, you get 100 negative comments. Who cares? What? It's such a small percent of the people watching. If you don't like the videos, you don't have to watch. I don't watch videos that I don't like. I just scroll past them. So yeah, no, it's just it's pretty irrelevant. There could be some substantial things like if we get a comment, hey, your music's too loud, or it's blurry in that
Yeah.
place. You can build from substantial critiques. But yeah, when it's something unsubstantial like that, you move past it and you focus on the positive, and there's a lot of positive.
So the more pointed comments that aren't meant just to be mean, but like saying, "Hey, like I would have loved this video was 7 seconds longer," or "Hey, could you turn the volume down or volume up a bit?" Those seem like people who are a part of your journey, not just trying to take you down almost.
Right, definitely. Or people asking, "Love, I love this video. Like, would love to see it in this other sport." So yeah, definitely listen to your audience, but ignore the unsubstantial comments.
How do you kind of turn it off at times? And I don't just mean viewing the comments, but I know you've talked about how you work 70 to 80 hours a week. I know you just film content at Yankee Stadium. It seems like you're back in your college dorm right now or apartment. How do you kind of turn it off?
I don't think I really turn it off. I think I
Well, then how do you not go insane?
yeah. Well, I think at the core of the success of the channel is that I love what I'm doing. It doesn't feel like work to me. A few days ago it was work. I went to Yankee Stadium and umpired for the Bananas, but I got to hang out with some of my favorite people. I got to make an impact. I got to do things that I loved. I've got a really cool experience in a really cool place. So when it doesn't feel like work, I can do it all day.
How do you remind yourself of that in moments when you have to edit a bunch of videos or you need to do some admin, as all founders have to do? How do you remind yourself of those moments when you're like, I just want to get to the good things? I know the staff is expanded for the Umpire channel, but any founder, any leader has to do some type of quote unquote busy work or admin work.
Yeah, and I'd say the majority of the channel are things I really enjoy. Some things aren't. It's no fun when you're on a 10-hour airport delay and somewhere some random airport. But not every, there's downsides to everything you do. So I think you just kind of move past it. And then big for me is as I build the channel, delegating the things that I really don't enjoy. Finding editors and graphic designers and people who can work on different parts of what I'm doing, so I can both continue to expand and don't get burned out on certain aspects that I don't enjoy as much.
So basically, you delegate everything you don't like to other people so that you can go deal with it.
I wouldn't say everything, but
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
right. That's definitely some of the things, because you can only do so much in a day, and if I can teach someone how to edit my videos, but I can't I can't go film. I can't teach someone to go film a day in the life umpiring at Yankee Stadium. So a bit of both.
How do you balance, like, oh, I'm a college athlete. Oh, I'm running a business. Oh, part of being a college athlete is you're in college. How do you juggle all those hats? I know you've been asked that before, but as we're both seniors now, how have you looked at the past 4 years and managing all that, as I see all your credentials behind you?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a balancing act at some points, but I think it's approaching things strategically. So, I approach like what classes I take very strategically. I approach what days I have them on. I'll stack my classes in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, so I can fly out Thursday, fly back Monday. I'll take classes where I get to work on different aspects of the channel. I've done business pitch competitions where I've gotten funding for the channel, worked with different professors, and used the network. So it's a balance, but I think if you approach things strategically, you can get a lot out of where you're at.
How are there ever a moment? I've talked about this with some creators who are still in school. Especially in the media world, they say C's get degrees. Have you ever had to kind of say, look, I gotta put school on the back burner and the content's important, or have you been just like steady? And if you are steady, I commend you.
Yeah, I say sure there are times, but I've been able to kind of align what I'm doing at school and the channel pretty well. It could be a finance class where I'm working on the finances of the channel, and I need to do that anyway. So I'd say by approaching it very strategically, I've been able to have the two kind of work in tandem.
Speaking of strategic, a lot of your day in the lives, I've noticed one very consistent part is that when you do day in the lives, or just in general, a lot of your content, it's the same 4 or 5 sounds, unless it's natural sound. How do you, as someone who's running a content calendar and running a content channel with content channels that have combined nearly 500,000 followers, when do you decide, hey, I want to be original versus I'm just going to stay consistent with something?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. We've found some sounds that work really well with the channel, and people associate it with the channel. Sometimes I was walking into film at a MLB umpire camp, And as I was walking and filming, some of the guys behind me were singing "A-OK,"
Yeah,
and
I was that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
right, kind of going with the channel. So I think that's pretty cool, and it keeps the energy up of the video. And then at the same point, well, we're always looking to find new songs and new video ideas. So I think it's a bit of both.
How do you balance people saying, and obviously we live in such a saturated media society, and you know better than me, but how do you balance people being like, I want more, more, more of the same thing versus, hey, I know I'm Noah Katz. I love doing this. I also got to treat myself at times too to make sure I'm still liking everything.
Yeah, I'd say we don't necessarily run into that problem too much. People. We do a lot of different things, and we have something for everyone. So if it's a video that they might not like, they're just not going to watch. So I think being able to have a diverse, spread of content where we have something for everyone is how we kind of get around that.
Is that why there's more NHL content, NBA content, non-baseball content now more than ever on the channel, which is just diversifying options for people?
Yeah, it's diversifying. It's getting into new audiences. I think people who are interested about a day in the life of an MLB umpire are often interested in what it looks like to be an NHL referee too. So all about showing stories that haven't been told before and showing sports from a different perspective. And yeah, we're very excited about expanding into other sports to do it.
How do you make sure that reach stays the same? Because on someone's For You page that is mostly baseball, how do you curate your content to make sure that someone who isn't following you but finds you in their algorithm will also find your non-baseball content?
Yeah, well, if they're only interested in baseball, it's okay if they don't watch the NHL video. Maybe we'll get some new people for that. So I don't think we're necessarily worried about that. Just consistently creating good content.
How when do you know I can make content that isn't just umpiring? Like when you were doing stuff with the Savannah Bananas the other day, you were fielding balls in funny ways, and I know you're going to play in a baseball game with a bunch of content creators on June 3rd. Like, when do you know, hey, people care about this channel enough that they don't just need to see umpire content. They want to see umpire channel content, if that makes sense. There's a big difference.
No, for sure. And yeah, I think we've kind of expanded the brand and, my personal brand as we've gone, and we're able to experiment with a lot of different kinds of content. I don't know if there's an exact point where you're ready to do that, but if you post a video that doesn't get views, it's not the end of the world. Nothing bad happens. So I think just always being willing to experiment and just continue to try new formats of content has been kind of our perspective from the start. So we'll always continue to do the umpire content, and we'll always continue to expand into other avenues as well.
Do you ever feel like a responsibility to share parts of your personal life? Because at a certain point, when someone has been following you for maybe 3 or 4 years, they want to see what you're doing. How do you kind of differentiate that with yourself? Because there are a lot of content creators at a certain point where it's not just about their skits or not just about their takes. They want to know, what is this person having for dinner? Where's this person traveling in their free time? Like, how do you kind of divvy up that responsibility when people have been following you for a long time and create some type of, maybe it's not obviously like Taylor Swift level, but like some type of parasocial relationship with your account?
Yeah, I don't know that it's a responsibility necessarily, but when sharing those parts it can add to the content, then always happy to do it. So we've done week in the life and day in the life content, and I've shown aspects of what it's like to do this while I'm in college, and what a day in the life is like. Going to class to then going out and filming content. So I'd say like when it adds to the content, always happy to do it.
When some of my friends have told me that when you're in college or in school, you have to give up one of these three things, where it's, so you've got social life, sleep, and work. Which one is kind of your sacrifice to say?
Yeah, I don't think I really sacrifice any of them. I
Really?
think when you surround yourself with people who you really enjoy spending time with, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. Like, I spent a few days just now at Yankee Stadium, but my videographer is one of my closest friends. The umpires have become some really great friends. I really enjoy spending time with the Bananas. So, we have fun while we're out there filming, having fun is in our best interest. When we have fun making the videos, people have fun watching the videos.
Yeah.
So I'd say, if you do it right, you don't necessarily have to sacrifice any of them.
Do you think the sacrifice comes from people putting too much pressure on themselves? I've spoken to content creators who are like, look, if I will do a better job with my content if I only get 4 hours of sleep. But if I get 8 hours of sleep, my content won't be as good. So, like, is there just kind of like a pressure almost that you have to kind of erase for that to be your mentality and say, hey, nothing's going to be cut short?
Yeah. I think it depends on the person. Everyone has different schedules and different things they're working on. And sleep is important. And I think it doesn't matter how many hours a week you work. I mean, I work a lot, but it matters how much work you get done. So again, I don't, it just depends on the person. But for me, I'm able to find a balance through surrounding myself with people, great people who I really enjoy spending time with, and having the work not feel like work because I love doing it.
And is that, like you said, that's kind of what helped you start off everything? You went out there with your brother back 4 years ago, and you said that, look, I want to just go make content, and that's how you've gotten to where you are.
Definitely, yeah. It's passion, and I'm able to spend so much time working on it because I love doing it. Someone asked me, "Oh, you like never go on vacation?" I go on vacation almost every other week. I get to umpire at these sold out MLB stadiums around some of my closest friends, and yeah, it's work, and yeah, there's travel and a lot of editing and a lot of logistics, but I really enjoy it, and that just makes it so much more sustainable and so much more successful.
Do you think with all your content, it actually puts you in a bad spot? Like you're kind of too outside of the box to ever become a professional umpire for a job? Or do you think you kind of lean into that? Like do you think you could be an ump because of how outside the box your content is when people in the MLB are looking at, you trying to become an ump potentially?
Yeah, I'd say that's not necessarily my goal. I think my goals are a lot more around the channel and the business.
Okay.
And
But if you wanted to, I'm saying, if you wanted to become an umpire, do you think your content would disrupt that because it's so different?
oh well, yeah, I don't know. I don't really spend too much time thinking about it because it's not necessarily exactly where I want to go. Yeah, I want to tell the stories and be able to tell stories from a lot of different perspectives. And I love umpiring, and I think I'll always continue to do it, but not necessarily looking to become a full-time MLB umpire.
Do you think you could be a rules analyst?
Maybe. Again, I think probably like my goals are more around the channel, but yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely like the intricacies of the rules and sharing people. I think what I really enjoy is breaking things down from the perspective of when I started the channel, or even before I started the channel, when I was first going out to umpire, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing, and there was so little information out there. So I think that's really who I have in mind with the channel. Breaking down these things, from the basics and from the perspective of that 16-year-old kid who's going out there to umpire for his first time.
Is it kind of like you're making content for that 16-year-old kid, like for kind of your younger version of yourself almost?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I think the content's for everyone, but yeah, there definitely is I have in mind where like this would have been so useful when I was getting started.
And I bet that when you get comments from 16-year-olds who are in a similar spot that you were, like, it must feel like, wow, I'm helping my younger self directly.
Absolutely. We get so many messages from, young kids and adults and people working at as a retirement job who just never realized they could do it and now have found something where they get to make money as a part-time job and they really love doing it. So, yeah, it's an amazing thing when we hear that, and we hear it often.
Yeah. Kind of just a few more things here. when when no matter the age that someone is when they're umpiring, what is something that all umps need to do?
I think communicate like effectively. I think that's very important for umpiring, whether that's with your other umpire partner, the coaches, the players. Just being able to communicate can go a long way.
Yeah. What so you're about to graduate. Is this going to become your full-time job? Like
Yep.
how it is?
Yep, I've already pretty much been doing it full time, but yeah, when I graduate in a few weeks, I'll be straight to going full time, and I'll fly out the next day to go umpire in front of 100,000 fans with the Bananas. So hitting the ground running.
What's kind of more overwhelming, umping for 100,000 people in attendance, or posting content for hundreds of thousands of people, or neither?
I mean, at certain points they can be overwhelming. Definitely, the first time I went out to umpire at a MLB stadium with 40,000 fans, when before that I'd only umpired at Little League games in front of 50 fans. It was a big jump. But after a little while, you get used to it and you just appreciate it instead of getting overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of like I know a lot of athletes talk about when they're in the Super Bowl or we're in the NBA Finals or the World Series, where it's like the nerves come in to start and then you just settle in and it's like, well, I'm just reffing a game. Kind of, you have that experience?
Definitely, and especially banana ball. I was nervous going into my first game, but then it starts, and it's so fast that you don't really have time to think about it. And you're just go going. So yeah, I think you settle in pretty well. But I will say one of the coolest moments is when you're kind of going all day, you're shooting content, you're getting ready to umpire, you're umpiring the game. But when you step out there to for the anthem, and it's quiet and it's just you and you're staring down the line of these pro baseball players and looking out in this sold crowd, and the anthem singer is amazing. That's where it really hits you. And yeah, now it's not nervousness; it's just excitement, and really being grateful for the place that you're in.
Being 22, being young in these spots, do you ever battle imposter syndrome when you're in these moments, or not anymore? Not as much now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I've always believed that I can be here and make an impact. I've often been the youngest person on the field, and I find that cool. I don't really find imposter syndrome in that, but definitely just trying to learn from everyone around me who might have more experience and have been really successful. So yeah, I think less imposter syndrome and more just being excited about the opportunity to learn.
When you think about you being full time with this, fully full time, I guess it's more like you're full time. You're just losing the student part. Um, what's coming next for the Umpire channel?
Yeah, we have a full slate of events coming at the start of the summer and going throughout. So I'm really excited. Starting out with the Bananas are playing in Knoxville at University of Tennessee's football stadium. So 100,000 fans there, straight off to start it out. Then we're working with Ripken Experience, and we're doing umpiring a youth tournament there, and then playing in a content all-star game, doing a lot of different things, doing bananas, doing some wiffle ball content, doing some MLB player interviews. So we have a really exciting schedule of events that we've been working on for a long time. So really excited to hit the ground running.
I mean, and just going throughout the country too. I bet you get to see so many different, not just cool ballparks, but so many cool cities and so many cool different types of fan groups.
Absolutely. It's one of the best parts of what I've done. I've been able to, visit about 30 something states now with the channel. I've gone to some amazing places. I really hit some of my bucket list places, from Williamsport and the Little League World Series to Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park to youth tournaments that I used to play in, like Cooperstown. So yeah, the travel is amazing, and just getting to see so many places and be with so many people from all over has been incredible.
What was the coolest stadium that you've been to?
The coolest stadium was probably umpiring at Fenway Park for the first time. Being here at college and Fenway being everything, and just going from umpiring a little league game, or I umpired a little league game with 20 fans a few days before, and then I'm out at Fenway Park. That was a pretty incredible experience.
It's like It's like that Drake song, 0 to 100 real quick. You really just like went from Little League to boom, we're at Fenway.
Yeah, it was a pretty unique experience.
Did anyone hit one over the monster?
I think so. I think they did a home run derby before, and we're launching some.
I see. I see. This is my last question. I ask this to every guest. I know us Gen Zers, we like to talk about manifesting, so I say that I'm manifesting this to be my first ever sponsored segment. If you could give advice to your younger self, and specifically for you, Noah, when you were out filming content for the first time with your brother for the Umpire channel, what advice would you give that version of yourself that you know now?
Say just have fun with it at all times. There definitely been some times where there have been down months, or different things have happened, and I've been down on myself. And when you look at it, when you zoom out, it's all been up and up. But if you zoom in, it's up and down, and there are times where it isn't as good. So just really appreciating all of the good in the times where it's slower and not as good. And just having fun with it throughout. Because this is an amazing thing I get to do, and I just want to make sure I enjoy every second of it.
Kind of like treating it like a retirement account, where it's not about what it is from week to week, but what it is from year 1 to year 4, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Your long term. You're building. You're investing in something, and you just have to see kind of the long term outlook.
A lot of creators talk about how like they have these moments where like, man, I can retire early, and then the next day they're like, oh my god, I have to file for bankruptcy. So just kind of like riding the wave, I'd assume.
Definitely.
Noah, could you drop your socials for me, please?
Yeah, you can follow the Umpire channel at the Umpire channel on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Facebook. And yeah, we have some really exciting content coming up, and excited to share it with everyone.
And Noah will be playing in a baseball game on June 3rd, right?
Yes, be playing with the Melonheads, a group of content creators. We'll be playing against a college team, so really excited to do some playing content as well.
Thank you all for watching another episode of Hold'em Conversations. Noah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the latest from Hold'em Conversations. Until next time.